Hi guys, this is Mrs. Hill. Today is our third lesson from our book, Potato, A Tale from the Great Depression. Today's a short lesson as we read our story and as we answer a few questions about our story. We will pay particular attention to the illustrations today as the setting has changed. And with the setting change, that really emphasizes this part of the story. So what we are going to do as we start on page 16 and 17, take a look at that illustration. You've got our family, and their setting or their living arrangements have changed. They went from moving out of a house, and it looks like now they're going to be living in a tent. And here's our little kitty in the story as well. Pages 18 and 19. Check this illustration out. See if you can think or if you recognize where they might be. Looks like a great big garden to me. Here we go. We are going to meet a new story character here. This is our new story character, and as we read from our book, we'll see if you can identify that character. Excuse me. On page 21, we've got an illustration again. It looks like they are outside. The moon is up, and it looks like they're doing something at night when it's dark. Here we go with another illustration. It looks like they're in the middle of that great big garden again. Somebody got tired and laid down and went to sleep. And here we are. The moon's still up back here. Excuse me, I'm sorry to keep coughing. And the last page of our story today, the last two pages. Look at this illustration. Here's our little friend. There's our kitty cat. Check out this car. Let's see what all of these things packed on the car are. Okay, so we are going to go back and we're going to start reading on page 16. Take a look at the illustration before we read. For 2 weeks, they lived in tents. During the day, they picked potatoes. Dorothy played in the fields among the potato plants. The man who owned the farm said that they, in their own time, at night, could go out in the picked over fields and get the leftover potatoes. So our new story character is the man who owned the farm. He doesn't have a name, but he is definitely a new character to our story. A man who owned the farm. So they bought used burlap sacks for a penny each. They went out at night and picked potatoes and put them in the sacks. The work only lasted 2 weeks. They picked potatoes for themselves every night. At the end of the 2 weeks, they loaded up Dorothy and the potatoes and headed home. There were potatoes wherever there was room for potatoes. Looks like Dorothy's barely hanging on there in the back seat. On the dashboard, hood, trunk, and running boards, Dorothy had to sit on the potato sacks. The money they had earned from working, they used for gas. That's as far as we're going to read today. Tomorrow's lesson will finish the story, and we'll see what the outcome of the story was. So the questions you're going to answer today are in your skill packet tab on your stream in your Google Classroom. We met a new character today on page 20. There's one new character that we met. The setting did change on page 17. The setting changed, so if you'll fill in where the family was on page 17, it also changed to a potato field. So I filled that one in for you. But you go back to page 17, or if you remember from page 17 what the setting was at that time of the story, that's what we need to fill out today. And the family's problem. No real new problem today. I think it stayed the same from the first two problems we identified in the story. So we're not going to add anything here. After tomorrow's lesson, we'll talk about how they solved their problem and go back and review who the characters were, the setting changes, the family's problem, and how they solved their problem. So tomorrow, after we finish tomorrow's lesson, we'll review all of this before we take an AR test. The second skill sheet, you do not have an assignment in that today, just the one with the 4 boxes. So you've got to add one character, one of the settings in this story, and that's all for today. So if you have any questions after you watch the video, I will be available through Remind. Thank you.